Welcome back to Million Dollar Coin. What if I told you that the coins lying unnoticed in your pocket, your drawer, or even forgotten in an old jar could secretly be worth 15 millions of dollars? It sounds unbelievable, almost like a fantasy. But in the world of rare coins, this is not just possible, it has happened many times before. And today, we are diving deep into one such fascinating mystery that might completely change the way you look at ordinary coins forever. Coins are more than just money. They are silent witnesses of history. Every scratch, every detail, every design element carries a story from a different time. When you hold a coin in your hand, you are not just holding currency, you are holding a piece of history that has traveled through countless hands, across cities, countries, and generations. And sometimes, hidden within these everyday objects are rare variations that collectors around the world are desperately searching for. Now imagine this. Small coin, something you might ignore without a second thought, suddenly turns out to be extremely rare. Its value jumps from a few cents to thousands or even millions. This transformation doesn't happen randomly. It happens because of a combination of rarity, condition, history, and sometimes pure accident. Let's talk about how this happens. The journey of a coin begins in a mint. This is where raw metal is transformed into currency using powerful machines and precise engineering. The process starts with metal blanks known as planchets. These planchets are heated, cleaned, and then struck with enormous pressure to imprint the coin's design. Everything is carefully controlled, but no system is perfect, and that's where the magic begins. Sometimes, during the minting process, errors occur. These errors might seem like mistakes, but in the world of collectors, they are treasures. A coin might be struck off-center, meaning the design is not properly aligned. Or it might be double-struck, creating a shadow-like duplication of the design. In rare cases, a coin might even be struck on the wrong metal altogether. These errors are not supposed to exist. That's exactly why they become so valuable. Collectors are always searching for something unique, something that stands out from millions of identical coins. And when a rare error is discovered, its value can skyrocket instantly. Some coins have sold for thousands, others for hundreds of thousands, and a few exceptional ones have reached into the millions. But errors alone are not enough. Condition plays a massive role. A coin that looks brand new, with no scratches or wear, is considered to be in mint state. These coins are extremely rare, especially if they have been in circulation. Over time, coins get worn down, lose their shine, and develop marks. So when a perfectly preserved coin appears, collectors are willing to pay a premium for it. This is where grading comes in. Professional grading services examine coins under magnification. They analyze every detail, the sharpness of the design, the quality of the strike, the surface condition. Based on this, they assign a grade. The higher the grade, the higher the value. A difference of just one grade point can mean thousands of dollars in value. Now let's talk about demand. Even a rare coin is not valuable unless people want it. Demand is driven by collectors, investors, and history enthusiasts. Some coins become famous because of their story. Others gain attention because of their rarity. And when demand increases, prices rise dramatically. There have been auctions where coins sold for unbelievable amounts. People from all over the world compete to own a single piece. Why? Because rare coins are not just collectibles, they are assets, they are investments. And for many collectors, they are a passion. But here's something important you need to understand. Not every old coin is valuable. This is one of the biggest myths in the world of coin collecting. Just because a coin is old does not mean it is rare. Value comes from a combination of factors: rarity, condition, demand, and uniqueness. Without these, even a 100-year-old coin might be worth only a small amount. That's why knowledge is your biggest advantage. If you know what to look for, you can spot valuable coins that others might ignore. You can identify rare mint marks, unusual errors, and high-grade specimens. And that's exactly how some people have made incredible discoveries, simply by paying attention. Now imagine going through your own coins. You pick up a coin and examine it closely. You check the year, the design, the mint mark. Suddenly, you notice something unusual. Maybe the design looks slightly off. Maybe there's a doubling effect. Maybe the coin feels different. That moment, that discovery, is what every collector dreams of, because that small detail could change everything. But once you find something unusual, what should you do? First, do not clean the coin. This is a very common mistake. Cleaning can damage the surface and reduce the value significantly. Even if the coin looks dirty, it is better to leave it as it is. Second, store it properly. Use protective holders to prevent damage. Keep it away from moisture, heat, and direct sunlight. Third, get it authenticated. Professional experts can confirm whether your coin is genuine and determine its grade. This step is crucial if you believe your coin might be valuable. Now let's talk about the bigger picture. Why do people invest in coins? The answer is simple. Coins are tangible assets. Unlike digital investments, you can hold them in your hand. They have historical value, artistic value, and financial value. And in many cases, their value increases over time. But coin collecting is not just about money. It's about discovery. It's about history. It's about the thrill of finding something rare and understanding its story. Every coin has a journey. Some have traveled across continents. Some have survived wars, economic changes, and generations of use. And a few have become legends in the collecting world. So the next time you see a coin, don't ignore it. Take a closer look. Because you never know what you might find. As we come to the end of this journey, remember this: extraordinary value often hides in ordinary places. The difference between someone who finds treasure and someone who doesn't is simple: awareness. If you stay curious, if you keep learning, and if you pay attention to details, you might just discover something incredible. And who knows, the next rare coin could already be in your pocket. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe to $1 Million Coin, and share this with your friends. And don't forget to drop a comment. Have you ever found a rare coin, or are you still searching for your first big discovery? Because your $1 Million Coin story might be closer than you think. As the journey continues, the deeper you go into the world of coins, the more you begin to realize that true value is often hidden beneath simplicity. What looks ordinary on the surface can carry layers of rarity, history, and uniqueness that only a trained eye can detect. This is where collectors separate themselves from the general public, because they don't just see coins, they analyze them. They observe every tiny detail, from the sharpness of the design to the alignment of the strike, from the texture of the surface to the consistency of the metal. And the more experience they gain, the more their ability to recognize something unusual becomes sharper. Over time, this skill transforms into instinct, where even a quick glance at a coin can trigger curiosity. This instinct is what has led many collectors to life-changing discoveries, where something dismissed by others became a rare and valuable asset. One of the most powerful ideas in coin collecting is that rarity is not always obvious. Sometimes a coin can exist in large numbers, but only a very small percentage of those coins have a specific feature that makes them valuable. For example, a slight misalignment during minting might only affect a few pieces out of millions. Those few pieces then become highly desirable because of their uniqueness. This is why collectors are constantly studying patterns, comparing coins, and sharing discoveries within the community. The world of numismatics is built on knowledge, and every new discovery adds another layer to that knowledge. It's like solving a puzzle where each piece reveals something new and unexpected. At the same time, the emotional aspect of collecting cannot be ignored. There is a certain thrill that comes with the hunt, a sense of excitement that builds with every coin you examine. It's not just about finding something valuable, it's about the possibility of finding something valuable. That possibility keeps collectors engaged, motivated, and curious. Even when nothing rare is found, the process itself is rewarding because it sharpens your observation skills and deepens your understanding. And then, when that rare moment finally arrives, it feels even more satisfying because of all the effort that led to it. Another important factor that often goes unnoticed is how global the coin market really is. A coin discovered in one country can attract buyers from all over the world. Auctions are no longer limited to physical locations. They are now global events where collectors from different continents compete in real time. This global demand increases the potential value of rare coins, especially those with unique characteristics. When multiple collectors want the same coin, the price naturally rises, sometimes reaching astonishing levels. This is how certain coins achieve record-breaking sales, turning small pieces of metal into headlines around the world. However, with high value comes high responsibility. As you move deeper into this field, it becomes essential to stay informed and cautious. Not every claim of rarity is true, and not every unusual-looking coin is valuable. This is why research plays a critical role. Cross-checking information, studying verified examples, and consulting experts are all part of the process. The more informed you are, the less likely you are to make mistakes. And in a field where values can reach thousands or even millions, avoiding mistakes is just as important as making discoveries. Let's also talk about the long-term mindset that successful collectors develop. They don't rush. They don't expect instant results. Instead, they focus on building knowledge over time. They understand that value is not always immediate, and sometimes the best discoveries come after years of patience. This mindset allows them to stay consistent, even when progress feels slow. And in the end, that consistency often leads to the most rewarding outcomes. Now imagine your own journey moving forward. You start paying more attention to the coins you receive. You begin to recognize patterns, differences, and details. Slowly, your understanding grows. What once seemed ordinary now appears full of possibilities. And one day, you come across something that stands out, something different. Something that makes you pause and look closer. That moment of curiosity could be the beginning of something extraordinary, because in the world of coins, the smallest detail can carry the biggest value. A tiny error, a slight variation, a perfect condition, these are the factors that transform a simple coin into a collector's prize. And the beauty of it all is that these treasures are not locked away in vaults or hidden in distant places. They are all around you, waiting to be discovered. So keep looking, keep learning, and most importantly, stay curious. Because the more curious you are, the more opportunities you will see. And in a world full of unnoticed details, curiosity is your greatest advantage. The journey doesn't end here, it only gets deeper, more exciting, and more rewarding with every step you take. As we move deeper into this journey, one of the most critical details that can completely change the value of a coin is something very small, something many people ignore entirely, and that is the mint mark. In the case of the 2004 Germany €5 coin, the mint mark, J, represents the Hamburg Mint, one of the official mints of Germany responsible for producing euro coins. At first glance, this tiny letter may seem insignificant, almost like a minor detail in the overall design, but in the world of numismatics, this single letter can carry enormous importance. Collectors do not just collect coins by year or design, they also collect them by mint location, because each mint produces coins in slightly different quantities and sometimes with subtle variations that can impact rarity and value. The Hamburg Mint, identified by the letter J, has a long and respected history in coin production. Coins produced here are known for their precision and quality, but like any minting facility, it is not completely free from errors or variations. In fact, it is often these rare imperfections that make certain coins from the Hamburg Mint highly desirable. When a coin from the 2004 series carries the J mint mark along with an unusual feature, such as a striking error, die variation, or exceptional condition, it immediately becomes more interesting to collectors. This is because collectors often aim to complete full mint sets, meaning they want the same coin from all mint locations, and when one particular mint version is harder to find in high grade or with unique features, its demand increases significantly. Now let's go even deeper into why mint marks matter so much. Imagine millions of coins being produced across different mints: Berlin, Munich, Stuttgart, Karlsruhe, and Hamburg. Even though the design remains the same, the production conditions, die wear, and handling processes can vary slightly from one mint to another over time. These small differences create identifiable characteristics. Some collectors specialize in studying these differences, identifying which mint produced sharper details, which mint had more errors, and which mint released fewer coins into circulation. When it comes to the J mint mark, certain years and conditions can be more difficult to find, especially in uncirculated or near-perfect condition. Condition, once again, plays a massive role here. A 2004 Germany €5 coin with a J mint mark in heavily circulated condition might hold only face value, but the same coin in mint state, with full original luster and no visible wear, can command a much higher price among collectors. And if that same coin also features a rare minting error, its value can increase dramatically. This is where the idea of the $15 million valuation comes into perspective, not as a standard value for every coin, but as a possibility reserved for extremely rare, unique, and high-grade specimens that combine multiple desirable factors. Let's explore what kind of errors could make a J mint mark coin exceptionally valuable. One possibility is a double die error, where the design appears duplicated due to a misalignment during the die creation process. Another is an off-center strike, where the coin is not properly aligned during minting, creating a visibly shifted design. There are also planchet errors, where the coin is struck on an incorrect or defective metal blank. These types of errors are rare, and when they appear on a coin with a specific mint mark like J, they become even more significant because collectors can trace exactly where the coin was produced. But beyond errors, there is also the concept of strike quality. Some coins are struck more sharply than others, meaning the details appear clearer and more defined. A sharply struck coin with a J mint mark, especially one that has been preserved in near-perfect condition, stands out immediately when compared to average circulated coins. This visual appeal adds to its desirability and can influence its market value. Another important factor is collector demand. In the global coin market, euro coins have gained significant popularity due to their modern history and wide circulation. Collectors from different countries actively search for rare euro coins, including specific mint mark variations. The 2004 Germany 5 euro cent coin with the J mint mark becomes particularly interesting when collectors attempt to build complete sets or discover unusual variations. This demand creates competition, and competition drives prices higher. Now imagine a scenario where a collector discovers a 2004 J mint mark coin that appears slightly different. The alignment is unusual, the design shows doubling, and the coin is in near-perfect condition. The collector sends it for professional grading, and the experts confirm that it is a rare minting error. Suddenly, what seemed like an ordinary coin becomes a highly sought-after piece. Auction houses take interest, collectors begin bidding, and the value rises rapidly. This is how extraordinary prices are achieved, not through ordinary coins, but through rare combinations of factors that make a single coin stand out from millions. It is also important to address the reality behind high-value claims. When we talk about values reaching into millions, such as $15 million, we are referring to extremely rare cases, coins that are unique, historically significant, or record-breaking in terms of condition and rarity. Most coins will never reach that level, and understanding this helps collectors stay realistic while still appreciating the potential for discovery. The goal is not to assume every coin is valuable, but to develop the knowledge needed to identify the ones that truly are. As you continue your journey, the key is to train your eye. Look closely at every coin you come across. Check for the mint mark, especially the J for Hamburg in this case. Observe the details, the condition, and any unusual features. Over time, your ability to recognize valuable coins will improve, and what once seemed complex will become second nature. The world of coin collecting is vast, and the deeper you go, the more fascinating it becomes. Each coin is a small piece of a much larger story, and sometimes that story carries incredible value. The 2004 Germany 5 euro cent coin with the J mint mark is a perfect example of how something so small can hold so much potential. It reminds us that value is not always visible at first glance. It must be discovered through patience, knowledge, and curiosity. So keep searching, keep learning, and never underestimate the coins in your possession. Because somewhere out there, or maybe even in your own collection, a rare J mint mark coin could be waiting to be recognized. And when that moment comes, it could turn an ordinary discovery into something truly extraordinary. As this journey reaches its most intense and thought-provoking stage, it becomes clear that coin collecting is not just about identifying rare pieces, but about understanding the deeper psychology behind value itself. Why does a small metal coin, something created for everyday transactions, suddenly become worth thousands or even millions? The answer lies in a powerful combination of rarity, story, condition, and human desire. The 2004 Germany 5 euro cent coin with the J mint mark from Hamburg perfectly represents this idea, because on the surface it is simple, ordinary, and widely circulated, yet under the right circumstances, it can transform into something extraordinary. This transformation does not happen by chance alone. It is driven by a chain of factors that come together in a very rare and unique way, and understanding this chain is what separates a casual observer from a serious collector. At this stage, it is important to understand the concept of elite coins, the kind of coins that stand at the very top of the market. These are not just rare, they are exceptionally rare, often existing in extremely limited numbers or sometimes as unique pieces. For a 2004 J Mint Mark coin to reach an extreme valuation, it would need to combine multiple extraordinary characteristics, such as a dramatic minting error, near-perfect or flawless condition, and verified authenticity from top grading institutions. In some cases, such coins also gain recognition within the collector community, becoming famous examples that are referenced, studied, and pursued by serious buyers. Once a coin reaches this level of recognition, it is no longer just a collectible, it becomes a centerpiece, a trophy asset that collectors compete for at the highest level. Another crucial factor that plays a role at this level is auction dynamics. When a rare coin appears in a major auction, it attracts attention from collectors around the world. These collectors are not just buyers, they are competitors, each one willing to pay more to secure the coin. As the bidding progresses, the price increases rapidly, sometimes far beyond initial estimates. This competitive environment is what drives record-breaking sales, and it is one of the key reasons why certain coins achieve astonishing values. The presence of a unique feature, such as a rare error on a J Mint Mark coin, can trigger this level of competition, especially if the coin is certified in a high grade and has strong visual appeal. But beyond auctions and market value, there is a deeper layer that makes coin collecting truly fascinating, and that is the idea of legacy. Coins are objects that outlast generations. A coin minted in 2004 may continue to exist for hundreds of years, passing from one collector to another, each adding to its story. When a coin becomes rare and valuable, it often becomes part of a legacy collection, preserved and protected for future generations. This long-term perspective adds another dimension to its value, because it is no longer just about the present, it is about the future as well. Collectors who acquire such coins are not just buying an asset, they are becoming part of its history. At the same time, it is essential to maintain a balanced and realistic perspective. While the idea of a $15 million coin is exciting, such values are extremely rare and apply only to the most exceptional cases. The majority of coins, including most 2004 Germany €5 coins with the J Mint mark, will remain at modest values unless they possess truly unique characteristics. This understanding is important because it keeps collectors grounded while still allowing them to appreciate the potential for discovery. The goal is not to assume every coin is valuable, but to recognize when a coin stands out from the rest. Now let's focus on the mindset that can lead to success in this field. Successful collectors are not driven by hype. They are driven by knowledge, patience, and consistency. They study coins regularly, compare examples, and stay updated with market trends. They understand that value is built over time and that the best discoveries often come when least expected. This mindset allows them to stay focused and disciplined, avoiding common mistakes and making informed decisions. For someone just starting out, adopting this mindset can make a significant difference in the long run. Another important aspect to consider is presentation. When a rare coin is displayed properly, its appeal increases significantly. Professional holders, clear labeling, and proper lighting can highlight the coin's features and make it more attractive to potential buyers. This is why graded coins often sell for higher prices. They are not only authenticated, but also presented in a way that enhances their visual impact. A 2004 J Mint Mark coin with a rare feature, when properly graded and displayed, can capture attention instantly and create a strong impression in the market. As we approach the conclusion of this journey, it is worth reflecting on the bigger picture. Coin collecting is not just about money, it is about discovery, learning, and appreciation. It teaches you to observe details, to think critically, and to value history in a tangible form. Every coin you examine adds to your experience, and every discovery, no matter how small, contributes to your growth as a collector. The process itself becomes rewarding, independent of the outcome. So what does this mean for you? It means that the next time you come across a coin, you have a choice. You can ignore it, treat it as ordinary, and move on, or you can take a closer look, examine its details, and explore its potential. That simple choice can lead to completely different outcomes. One path leads to missed opportunities, while the other opens the door to discovery. The 2004 Germany €5 coin with the J Mint mark is more than just a coin. It is a reminder that value often hides in plain sight. It challenges you to look beyond the obvious and to question what you see. It encourages you to develop curiosity and to never underestimate the small things in life, because sometimes the smallest things carry the greatest value. And as this journey comes to an end, remember this one powerful idea: your next discovery could be closer than you think. It could be in your pocket, in your home, or in a collection you haven't looked at in years. All it takes is a moment of curiosity, a willingness to look closer, and the knowledge to recognize what others miss. If you've made it this far, it means you are serious about uncovering hidden value. So take this knowledge, apply it, and start your own journey. Like this video, subscribe to Million Dollar Coin, share it with others, and drop a comment below with your thoughts or questions. Because your story in the world of rare coins is just beginning, and who knows, the next coin you examine might not just be ordinary, it might be your million-dollar discovery. The understanding of coins begins to shift from simple observation to deep interpretation, where every small detail starts to carry meaning and every feature becomes a clue. At this stage, the 2004 Germany €5 coin with the J mint mark is no longer just a subject of curiosity, but a case study of how value is created, recognized, and pursued in the world of collectors. The more you explore, the more you realize that coins are not isolated objects. They exist within a larger system of history, economics, and human behavior. Each coin represents a moment in time, a decision in production, and a path through circulation that gives it its unique identity. One of the most fascinating developments at this level is how collectors begin to specialize. Instead of looking at coins randomly, they focus on specific types, years, or mint marks. In this case, focusing on the J mint mark from Hamburg opens up a more detailed and targeted exploration. Collectors begin comparing different examples of the same coin, noticing how some have sharper details while others appear slightly weaker in strike. They examine the surface under light, looking for luster, marks, or unusual textures. Over time, these observations build a deeper understanding that cannot be learned instantly, but develops through repeated exposure and careful study. Another important realization is how circulation affects a coin's life. When a coin leaves the mint, it enters the real world, where it is used, exchanged, and handled repeatedly. Each transaction leaves a subtle impact, slowly wearing down the details. This is why high-grade coins are so rare. They have somehow avoided this cycle of heavy use. A 2004 J mint mark coin that remains in near-perfect condition is almost like a time capsule, preserving the exact state it had when it was first minted. This preservation adds to its appeal, making it stand out among millions of worn examples. At the same time, collectors begin to understand the importance of comparison. A single coin may not reveal much on its own, but when compared with others, differences become clear. Subtle variations in lettering, spacing, or alignment can suddenly become noticeable. This is where knowledge transforms into expertise, because recognizing these differences requires both experience and attention to detail. The more coins you compare, the more your ability to detect unusual features improves, and this skill becomes one of the most valuable tools in your journey. As this deeper level of understanding develops, the concept of rarity becomes more refined. It is no longer just about how many coins exist, but how many exist in a particular condition or with a specific feature. A coin might be common overall, but extremely rare in top condition or with a certain error. This refined view of rarity is what drives advanced collectors to search more carefully and think more strategically. They are not just looking for coins, they are looking for specific qualities that elevate a coin above the rest. Another layer that becomes important is the role of documentation and record keeping. Serious collectors track their findings, compare notes, and sometimes contribute to the wider collecting community by sharing discoveries. This exchange of information helps build a collective understanding of which coins are rare and why. Over time, certain coins gain recognition not just because they are rare, but because they are well documented and widely known among collectors. This recognition further increases their desirability and value. At this stage, patience becomes even more critical. The search for rare coins is not a quick process, and valuable discoveries are often separated by long periods of routine observation. However, this patience is what makes the eventual discovery so rewarding. When you finally find something unusual after examining countless ordinary coins, the sense of achievement is unmatched. It is the result of persistence, focus, and a willingness to keep searching even when results are not immediate. As the journey continues, the connection between knowledge and confidence becomes stronger. With more experience, you begin to trust your observations and make more informed decisions. You become less influenced by assumptions and more guided by evidence. This confidence allows you to navigate the coin market more effectively, whether you are buying, selling, or simply collecting for personal interest. At the same time, the excitement never disappears. Even experienced collectors feel a sense of anticipation when examining coins, because the possibility of discovery is always present. This balance between knowledge and excitement is what keeps the journey engaging over the long term. It ensures that coin collecting remains both intellectually stimulating and emotionally rewarding. Looking ahead, the journey does not slow down. It becomes even more detailed and more focused. Each new coin examined adds to your understanding, and each new discovery opens the door to further exploration. The 2004 Germany €5 coin with the J Mint mark remains a perfect example of how something small can lead to a much larger journey, one that combines history, observation, and the constant search for hidden value. And as you move forward, remember that every expert was once a beginner who decided to look a little closer. The difference is not in the coins themselves, but in the way they are observed and understood. By continuing to learn, compare, and stay curious, you place yourself in the position to recognize opportunities that others might miss. Because in the end, the journey is not just about finding rare coins. It is about developing the ability to see value where others see none. And that ability, once developed, can turn even the simplest discovery into, as this journey now approaches a more mature and reflective stage, everything begins to connect in a deeper and more meaningful way. The exploration that started with simple curiosity about coins has now transformed into a disciplined way of thinking, observing, and understanding value. The 2004 Germany €5 coin with the J Mint mark is no longer just an example. It has become a symbol of how attention to detail can open doors to knowledge, opportunity, and even personal growth. By this point, you are not just looking at coins, you are reading them, interpreting them, and understanding the silent stories they carry. One of the most powerful realizations at this stage is that true expertise is not about knowing everything, but about knowing how to observe and question what you see. Every coin you examine becomes part of a larger learning process. Even when a coin appears ordinary, it still contributes to your experience by reinforcing what is common and helping you recognize what is uncommon. Over time, this repeated exposure sharpens your instincts, allowing you to quickly identify details that others might overlook. This ability is not built overnight. It is the result of patience, consistency, and a genuine interest in the subject. Another important shift that happens here is the understanding of long-term vision. Earlier, the focus may have been on immediate discovery or quick value, but now the perspective becomes broader. You begin to think about collections as something that grows over time, something that can be refined, improved, and even passed on. The idea of building a meaningful collection becomes more important than simply gathering coins. Each addition is made with thought and purpose, contributing to a bigger picture that reflects both knowledge and dedication. At the same time, the emotional connection to the journey becomes stronger. Every coin holds a memory of where it was found, how it was identified, and what was learned from it. These experiences create a personal story that goes beyond monetary value. The collection becomes a reflection of your effort, your patience, and your ability to stay committed to a process that does not always offer immediate rewards. This emotional depth is what makes the journey truly fulfilling because it connects knowledge with personal experience. As you continue forward, you also begin to understand the importance of sharing knowledge. What you have learned is not meant to stay limited to your own experience. It can help others start or improve their own journeys. By explaining concepts, sharing observations, and guiding new collectors, you reinforce your own understanding while contributing to a larger community. This exchange of knowledge keeps the field alive and constantly evolving, ensuring that new discoveries and insights continue to emerge. Another key aspect at this stage is discipline. The ability to stay focused, avoid distractions, and maintain a consistent approach becomes essential. Not every coin will be valuable, and not every search will lead to a discovery, but discipline ensures that the process continues regardless of immediate results. This steady approach is what ultimately leads to success, because it allows you to accumulate knowledge and experience over time without losing motivation. As the journey nears its closing phase, there is also a sense of clarity that develops. You begin to understand what truly matters: attention to detail, patience, and the willingness to keep learning. The noise and confusion that may have existed at the beginning gradually fade away, replaced by a clear and focused mindset. This clarity allows you to approach each new coin with confidence and purpose, knowing exactly what to look for and how to evaluate it. Finally, as this part comes to a close, it is important to recognize that while this may feel like an ending, it is actually a continuation at a higher level. The journey of understanding coins and value itself does not truly end. It evolves. Each stage builds upon the previous one, creating a cycle of learning, discovery, and growth that can continue indefinitely. The 2004 Germany €5 coin with the J mint mark will always remain a starting point, a reminder of how something small can lead to something much greater. So as you move beyond this point, carry forward everything you have learned: the attention to detail, the patience, the curiosity, and the discipline. These are the tools that will guide you, not just in coin collecting, but in any pursuit where value is hidden beneath the surface. Because in the end, the true reward of this journey is not just the coins you find, but the perspective you develop along the way, the ability to see, to understand, and to recognize what others might. As we step into this next phase of the journey, the conversation rises to an entirely different level, one where understanding is no longer basic, expression is no longer ordinary, and the way we communicate value becomes just as important as the value itself. At this stage, it is not enough to simply know about coins. The real power lies in how you present that knowledge, how you shape your words, and how you create an impact that resonates with people who are listening, watching, and trying to learn from you. Because in today's world, discovery alone does not create influence, storytelling does. When we talk about making content that truly connects, especially in the context of something as niche and detailed as coin collecting, the key lies in transforming information into experience. The 2004 Germany €5 coin with the J mint mark is no longer just a subject. It becomes a narrative device. It becomes the hook, the mystery, the anchor that keeps your audience engaged from the very beginning until the very end. And the difference between content that is ignored and content that goes viral often comes down to how well you build that narrative. It is about packing, tone, and the emotional rhythm of your speech. A powerful way to elevate your delivery is by creating a sense of progression. You don't reveal everything at once. Instead, you guide your audience step by step, allowing curiosity to build naturally. You begin with a question, something that instantly captures attention. Why do some ordinary coins suddenly become valuable? What hidden detail transforms something so common into something rare? These questions act as a gateway, pulling your audience into the journey without overwhelming them. And once they are engaged, every sentence that follows should feel like a step deeper into discovery. The language you use plays a critical role here. Simple words can inform, but refined and expressive language can inspire. Instead of merely stating facts, you create imagery. You describe the coin not just as an object, but as a witness to history, as a piece of craftsmanship shaped by precision and time. You talk about the mint mark not just as a letter, but as a signature, a subtle yet powerful indicator of origin that carries meaning for those who know where to look. This shift in wording transforms your speech from informational to immersive. Equally important is the way you control emphasis. Not every part of your speech should carry the same weight. Some moments should be calm and reflective, allowing the audience to absorb information, while others should be more intense, highlighting key insights and discoveries. This variation creates a dynamic flow that keeps listeners engaged. It prevents monotony and ensures that your message does not fade into the background. Instead, it stays active, alive, and memorable. Another crucial element is relatability. While the subject may be specific, the underlying idea, recognizing hidden value, is something everyone can connect with. You draw parallels between coin collecting and everyday life. You show how the ability to notice small details can lead to bigger opportunities, not just in collecting, but in decision-making, learning, and personal growth. This connection broadens your audience, making your content relevant even to those who may not initially be interested in coins. As you continue building your speech, you also begin to understand the importance of confidence in delivery. The way you speak should reflect certainty, even when you are exploring possibilities. Confidence does not mean exaggeration, it means clarity. It means presenting your ideas in a way that feels grounded and well thought out. When your audience senses this confidence, they are more likely to trust your words and stay engaged throughout your content. At this level, consistency becomes a defining factor. Viral content is rarely the result of a single effort. It is usually built through repeated attempts, continuous improvement, and a willingness to refine your approach. Each piece of content you create teaches you something new, whether it is about packing, audience response, or the effectiveness of your wording. Over time, these lessons accumulate, allowing you to produce content that is not only informative, but also highly engaging and shareable. And then comes the final and perhaps most powerful element, the closing. A strong ending does not simply conclude the speech, it reinforces the message and leaves a lasting impression. It brings the journey full circle, reminding the audience of where it started and how far it has come. It leaves them with a thought, an idea, or even a question that stays with them long after the content has ended. This is what transforms a good speech into a memorable one, so as you move forward, remember that this stage is about elevation. It is about refining not just what you know, but how you communicate it. It is about turning knowledge into impact, information into engagement, and observation into storytelling. The 2004 Germany €5 coin with the J mint mark remains at the center of this journey, but now it serves a greater purpose. It becomes a tool through which you demonstrate skill, creativity, and the ability to connect with an audience on a deeper level. Because in the end, the goal is not just to share information, but to create something that people want to listen to, watch, and share. Something that feels valuable, meaningful, and worth their time. And when you achieve that, you are no longer just a collector or a speaker. You become a storyteller, someone who can take even the smallest detail and turn it into something powerful enough to capture attention and leave a lasting impact. As we enter this extended and more powerful phase of the journey, the entire perspective begins to evolve into something far more refined, far more impactful, and far more influential than anything we have explored before. At this stage, you are no longer simply sharing knowledge. You are crafting an experience, shaping perception, and building a voice that has the potential to reach, engage, and influence thousands, even millions. This is where the journey transforms from learning into mastery, from observation into authority, and from simple communication into a compelling form of storytelling that holds attention and creates lasting impact. The foundation of this level lies in depth. Surface-level understanding is no longer enough, and neither is surface-level expression. Every idea you present must feel complete, layered, and meaningful. When you speak about the 2004 Germany €5 coin with the J mint mark, you are not just describing a coin, you are unfolding a narrative that connects history, craftsmanship, rarity, and human curiosity into a single, seamless flow. You are guiding your audience through a journey where each sentence builds upon the previous one, creating a rhythm that feels natural yet powerful. This depth is what separates ordinary content from content that truly resonates. One of the most critical elements at this stage is control over attention. In a world filled with distractions, holding someone's focus for an extended period is a skill in itself. You achieve this not by overwhelming your audience, but by packing your content intelligently. You allow moments of curiosity to breathe, you give your audience time to think, and then you re-engage them with a new layer of insight. This continuous cycle of engagement ensures that your content never feels static. Instead, it feels alive, constantly moving, constantly evolving, and constantly drawing the listener deeper into the experience. Language now becomes your most powerful tool. The difference between average and exceptional content often lies in how ideas are expressed. Instead of using plain descriptions, you elevate your wording to create richness and texture in your speech. You describe processes as journeys, details as discoveries, and observations as revelations. You replace basic explanations with expressive narratives that make your audience feel as though they are part of the experience, not just observers of it. This level of wording transforms your speech into something that is not only heard but felt. At the same time, clarity must never be sacrificed for complexity. The goal is not to sound complicated, but to sound compelling. Your words should flow smoothly, your ideas should connect naturally, and your message should remain clear throughout. This balance between sophistication and clarity is what makes your speech accessible while still maintaining a high level of quality. It ensures that your audience remains engaged without feeling lost or overwhelmed. Another defining feature of this stage is emotional connection. Facts and information can capture attention, but emotion is what sustains it. You create this connection by aligning your message with experiences that your audience can relate to, the excitement of discovery, the satisfaction of understanding something deeply, and the anticipation of finding something valuable where others see nothing. These emotional elements add depth to your content, making it more memorable and more impactful. As you continue, you begin to recognize the importance of structure. A long-form speech, especially one designed to hold attention for 15 minutes or more, must have a clear and deliberate flow. It begins with intrigue, builds through exploration, intensifies with insight, and concludes with reflection. Each section serves a purpose, and each transition feels smooth and intentional. This structure is what allows your content to feel complete, rather than scattered or unfinished. Consistency in tone is equally important. Your voice should feel steady and confident from beginning to end. Sudden shifts in tone or energy can break the immersion, so maintaining a controlled and balanced delivery ensures that your audience remains connected throughout the entire speech. This consistency creates trust, and trust is one of the most valuable assets you can build with your audience. At this level, repetition is no longer a flaw, it becomes a strategic tool. Key ideas can be revisited, but each time with a slightly different perspective or deeper insight. This reinforces your message without making it feel redundant. Instead, it strengthens understanding and ensures that your audience retains the most important points of your speech. As the speech progresses toward its later stages, the sense of momentum becomes stronger. Your audience is no longer just listening, they are invested. They are following your journey, anticipating your next point, and becoming more engaged with every passing moment. This is where your control over packing, wording, and structure comes together to create a truly immersive experience. And then, as you approach the closing phase, everything begins to align. The ideas you introduced at the beginning now come full circle. The journey feels complete, the message feels clear, and the impact feels lasting. A strong closing does not simply end the speech, it elevates it. It leaves your audience with a sense of fulfillment, a deeper understanding, and a lasting impression that stays with them long after the speech is over. So in this extended part of the journey, the focus is not just on length, but on depth, quality, and impact. It is about creating something that holds attention, delivers value, and leaves a mark. It is about transforming your speech into an experience that people not only listen to, but remember, share, and return to. Because ultimately, the goal is not just to speak, it is to connect, to influence, and to create something meaningful. And when you achieve that, your content does more than just exist. It stands out, it spreads, and it makes a difference. As we arrive at this powerful and concluding phase of the journey, everything we have explored so far begins to come together with greater clarity, deeper meaning, and a stronger sense of purpose. What started as a simple curiosity about coins has now transformed into a complete understanding of observation, storytelling, and the ability to recognize value where others might overlook it. At this stage, your voice carries weight, your words carry intention, and your message carries impact. You are no longer just presenting information, you are delivering an experience that has the power to stay with your audience long after the content ends. Throughout this journey, the 2004 Germany €5 coin with the J Mint mark has served as more than just an example. It has been a gateway into a much larger world, a world where details matter, where patience is rewarded, and where knowledge transforms into opportunity. Each layer of understanding we built has added depth not only to the subject itself, but also to the way it is communicated. And now, at this final stage, the focus shifts from exploration to reflection, from discovery to realization. One of the most important takeaways from this entire journey is the power of perspective. The difference between something ordinary and something valuable often lies in how it is seen. Two people can look at the same coin, yet one may see nothing special while the other recognizes something rare and meaningful. This difference is not based on luck. It is based on awareness, experience, and the willingness to look deeper. And this principle extends far beyond coin collecting. It applies to learning, decision-making, and the way we approach opportunities in life. Another key realization is the importance of consistency. Every part of this journey required patience, focus, and a commitment to improvement. There were no shortcuts, no instant results, only a steady process of learning, observing, and refining. And it is this consistency that ultimately leads to growth, whether it is in collecting, creating content, or building knowledge. The results always reflect the effort that has been invested over time. At the same time, the role of storytelling has become clear. Information alone can educate, but storytelling can inspire. It has the power to transform simple facts into something engaging, something memorable, and something worth sharing. This is especially important in today's world, where attention is limited and competition for that attention is constant. The ability to present information in a compelling way is what allows your content to stand out and connect with a wider audience. As we reflect on everything covered so far, there is also a sense of achievement that comes with completing this journey, not just in terms of knowledge gained, but in terms of the mindset developed along the way. The ability to stay curious, to remain patient, and to continue learning even when progress feels slow. These are qualities that extend beyond this topic and become valuable in every area of life. And now, as we move toward the final moments of this part, it is important to leave your audience with something that stays with them, something simple yet powerful. A message that captures the essence of everything they have just experienced. Because the ending of your content is not just a conclusion, it is an opportunity to reinforce your identity, your purpose, and your connection with your audience. So as this journey reaches its closing note, you bring everything together with clarity and confidence. You remind your audience of what they have learned, you appreciate the time they have invested, and you invite them to continue this journey with you. Because while this part may be ending, the overall journey is far from over. It continues with every new discovery, every new insight, and every new piece of content that you create. Thank you for watching Million Dollar Coin. If you are someone who believes that small details can lead to big discoveries, then make sure you stay connected. Subscribe to Million Dollar Coin for more old coin discoveries, hidden details, and valuable insights that most people miss. Because the next discovery could be closer than you think, and with the right perspective, you might be the one who finds it. Keep observing, keep learning, and most importantly, never ignore the small details, because sometimes they hold the biggest value.